What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Dauntless Outdoors. Today's episode, we're diving out of Crystal River. We got Gabe, got Ben, got Jack, got Colin, got Bailey. She's trying to shoot her first gag today. And we got Mom, got some jugs in the water. And we're hopefully gonna see some nice fish. The viz looks really good and I'll catch you right in the water. What's going on, y'all? Josh here. I just hopped in the water and I'm swimming around with the pole spear. That was the main goal of my dive trip here. I was just trying to shoot a pretty big gag, trying to break the record, but as you see, pretty small mangrove snapper, probably about 14 inches. I was just trying to get dialed in on this pole spear, and as you see, I definitely needed to take that shot. Hey guys, Ben here. So to give you a little context, this is a number we've all dove in the past and we've all shot very large grouper off of. So last time I was here, I actually shot a grouper just shy of 20 pounds, 19 and a half-ish, I think, or 19 and 3/4. And so I had one thing on my mind, and it was shoot a giant gag. So I'm going really slow. I'm taking my time. I'm checking out my surroundings. I checked these two cracks, and then you're going to see I go around a corner in a second, and I got lazy. I didn't see the grouper where I expected to see him because I'd already looked in the areas where I'd shot him in the past, and so I got lazy. I wasn't ready to thumb shoot, and around this corner, and there was a very large gag. I've seen a lot of grouper in the water. It might be hard to tell, but that gag was somewhere in that 20-pound mark. He might have been a little shy. He might have been a little over, but that was without a doubt the biggest gag I'd been presented with this year. So very large grouper. He kind of shot around to this side. And so I decided to look up in there, and I could see more than one in there. Couldn't tell which one was him. Couldn't tell if it was the big one or not, so I let him be. I backed out, did a couple dives, and then this is when I come back in, and I'm more set on, okay, I'm going to take a shot on whatever fish gives me an opportunity on this dive. So I go up in here. Keep in mind, I'd already done a couple more dives, and that big one had eluded me. I sort of saw him once again, but not very clear. So as I'm looking under here, I'm looking through this crack. There's just a little bit of light showing, and as you can see, I'm not shining a light, and the only reason I'm doing that is so I don't spook fish. When you're around finicky fish, if you're shining a light on them, they're gonna spook out. So it was a little harder shooting with no light, but you can see I'm just looking at the belly of that gag there. So I'm thumb shooting, and I'm lifting the barrel of the gun up as high and as tight as I can get it to that piling to shoot as high up on that fish as I can without hitting the piling. So thumb shoot. Even though I can just barely see the belly of that fish, I take the shot. I ended up hitting him really well, right in the gill plates, just right in the cheek. Killer holding shot, backed out, and then breathed up and went back down as soon as I could to hopefully prevent him from getting eaten by a Goliath grouper or anything like that. So breathed up, went down, did my retrieval dive, and then by then I think thanks to the gill plate shot slash like cheek shot, I think it bled him out because I went back in there and homeboy was just dead. Very little life left in him. Really not difficult at all. And since he wasn't the size of the original one I saw, he really didn't have much life left in him, and he really wasn't that crazy big. So easy peasy, pulled him right back out, and then made my way up to the surface. Killer first gag of the trip for me, and great fish to put in the cooler. He came out to be just over 30 inches. I think he was maybe 31 or something like that. So really nice grouper. And then as you can see, I ducked back into that other cave just to see if my shot and me playing with that fish had possibly repositioned that other big gag. But I never saw him again. So sadly, he made his way out of the structure safely. But took this guy to the boat, and as you can see, really nice gag there. What's going on? This clip here is Gabe. He's headed down to the bottom on that area where Ben just got that nice gag, and he was in the process of trying to find a gag as well, but he wasn't really seeing anything. And there was a couple nice mangroves right in this little pocket here, so he decided to pick out the biggest one. Gave him a nice shot, and he decided to take it. Unfortunately, it was kind of blocked there, but landed a nice holding shot and decided to pull the fish out. He had plenty of bottom time. And just pulled him right back out. Pretty awesome dive.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Colin here. So So this is actually my first dive with a pole spear in probably years. I've never used this particular pole spear, and I just wanted to try it out. And it just happened to be on my first dive here. I came down on quite a few good gags. You can see that one swimming off right in the top right. And so I look over and I see the other one sitting a little bit closer to me. So I'm very calmly trying to get to him. And he's, obviously swimming right off. So I kind of lunge a little shot at him. It was out of my range. I've never used this pole spear before, so I wasn't quite sure how far I'd go, but I gave it a shot, and that was good.
So I had told Colin those gags were there. He went down, took a shot, and I decided I was going to go check the area out. And as I'm headed down to the bottom, I spot that there's a good bit of room up under this little ledge thing here. So I swim down, decide to check up under there, and I spot one gag right there. He's not that big. He's probably about 10 pounds. Still a pretty good gag, but not a giant. And then, as I see right here on this left side, pretty big gag. So I decided to take a shot on him. He's just sitting there, gave me a really nice shot. He's pulling, and as you can tell, he's fighting really hard. Swims out of there and bends the injector rod a little bit, but not the biggest deal. Get him out of there, and he tries to swim around that thing, which would have been pretty bad because I didn't have a belt reel or anything like that, but ended up getting him up in one dive, and awesome fish. He was about 1.5 pounds under a world record.
That's a solid pole spear fish. Holy! He got that on a pole spear. Yeah.
Alrighty, y'all. Just got back to the boat. Probably about a 16-pound grouper, maybe a little bit smaller, but first fish of the day on the pole spear. Not too shabby. Catch you guys back in the water. So I did my best to straighten that injector rod, hop back in the water, and Colin checked this ledge again and told me there was a nice gag up under there. So I went down, head up under here, just to kind of confirm that he was still sitting up under there. And you probably can't see him, but he's sitting all the way to the right behind a little coral head thing. And I was just double checking that he was there. Head back up to the surface and hand the pole spear off to Colin.
There's a big boy up under there.
Hey, Colin here again. So, after Josh actually just got that really stud gag, that 17-pounder up underneath, I believe this same exact little ledge piece here, we went back down, and we ended up seeing that other one under there. So I went down with the pole spear again, located this guy, and you can see him just barely. He's forced way up under there. I was able to get a shot on him. The pole spear honestly was probably the best option here because it's a slip grip system. A shaft would have made it much harder to retrieve him from out of there. It was a good holding shot right through his face, so I was able to kind of just pull him out. Pull him right out from there. Really solid grouper. I don't think we ever got a weight on him, but he was a good 13, 14 pounder grouper for sure.
Yes, sir. I got the whole thing. That's gonna be sick.
So this is a quick little third perspective of Colin shooting this gag. He goes up under here sideways, pole spear ready, all loaded and stuff. Lands a beautiful shot on this fish, and since it's a slip tip, you can be 100% sure that it's not going to pull right through or have just the flopper close or anything like that. So he pulls on this fish, gets him all the way out, and lands an awesome fish. So we checked that ledge again, didn't really see anything else up under there, and we started searching some more. Found another one right here that had a nice gag under it. He was probably about 26 inches, but we wanted to hold off and see if Bailey wanted to shoot it.
Bailey, you want to shoot a gag?
So this clip here is Bailey hopping in the water. She threw some fins on and a mask, swam down here, and this is her first time shooting up under a ledge. So I'm kind of trying to show her how you look up under a ledge and how you want to handle finding a fish and getting the gun situated and all that. Which, if you have ever shot a fish up under a ledge, you know it's quite a lot if you don't really know how to do it. So she's kind of sitting out in the sand, not really sticking her face all the way up under there. Head up to the surface, and I tell her she's got to look like a little bit farther up under there. And Bailey is Gabe's girlfriend, just so you guys know who that is. And now I'm looking up under there, making sure that fish is still there, kind of seeing exactly how he's located and where she would be able to see it the best. And I'm kind of trying to show her, now that she's looking a little bit farther up under there, how to see this fish. I even go up under here and point at it, and then she finally noticed it. And once she saw it, she had plenty of bottom tide. We're only in about 35 feet of water here, so she had plenty of time to get down there, look around, and get situated. So head back down to the bottom one more time. She went down all by herself just to make sure she was all situated and knew how to get to this fish. So as you see, she looks way up under there, and she's all situated, so she's ready to get that fish. So now I'm on the surface, she heads down to the bottom, and I decide to follow her. Got a sick third-person view here. She's getting that gun ready. And for her first time doing this, I would say she looks pretty experienced. So she's got that gun ready in her left hand. She's approaching the ledge from the right side. And she's getting ready to shoot this fish. She looks around, turns the gun up under there, and it does take her a little while. Like, obviously if you've shot a plenty amount of fish up under there, you'd be able to do it a little bit quicker. But on your first time, it's not about how quick you can do it, it's about how good of a shot you can get to make sure you get that fish. So she's getting that gun all lined up. She sees the face of the fish, and as you see, she gets it a little bit closer, lines up, and takes the shot on a pretty big gag. So definitely couldn't complain about this. There wasn't really anything she did wrong. She had plenty of bottom time, and for her first gag, definitely killed it. So I get down here, looking up under this place, just trying to see how that fish is situated and what the best way to get him out is. Bailey didn't really feel like taking it out. She was plenty content just taking the shot, and I really don't blame her. It was way up under there, and it was pretty tight. We had a bunch of coral blocking the exit, so I head on up to the surface and get a buddy down there with me. So now I'm back on the bottom. I got Colin on the one side, and I didn't know he was going to lift it, but it made it about 7 times easier. I was going to just try and shimmy this fish out and then close the flopper and pull the fish off and then send the shaft back through, but Colin comes down here, lifts up on the one side. I didn't know they were going to be that light, but it was light enough to move it, and I just grabbed that fish and pulled him right on out. So made it a lot faster and landed that fish. So we moved spots. We're now on these like drainage boxes for sewers. It's kind of a weird thing to dive because there's so much room inside of them, but I'm just swimming alongside of it. There wasn't really anything inside other than a bunch of snook. So I'm looking at some decent mangrove snapper, nothing too big, but I wasn't seeing any gags, so was gonna shoot some just to eat them. I missed that one, so I was kind of a little bit mad about that. Head back down with a light and approach this how I should have just approached it the first time. Look up under the side, tilt my head a little bit sideways so I could see up under there. And there's a pretty good one right there. Wait till he turns, take a shot. I felt like I was lined up. It looks like I was lined up in the video. And it kind of felt like I had something, but clearly I didn't get anything. So Trying to put that slip tip back on. It's got a bunch of sand in it, so it's obviously not getting back on there. And I realized those fish were already way up under there anyways, and I just decided to leave this spot and try and find something else. So now Colin and I are buddy diving on these like little platform things. They've got a good bit of room under them, but this was my first time diving them. I didn't really know where the best spot was going to be, so I'm just checking as many as I can in each dive with the pole spear ready to look up under this ledge and just shoot whatever's up under there. We were kind of looking for gags and stuff like that, so that was what I was expecting. Didn't see anything up under there. Go to head on up to the surface, get that pole spear out, and as you see, pretty big gag right there. I think he was bigger than the one that I already shot. I slowly followed him. If I had a spear gun, I probably could have shot him, but definitely not with the pole spear. So, pretty cool fish there.
Colin here again with another clip. So we had switched some spots, hopped a whole bunch of different spots. I'm here with Josh, and so I took a dive on these culverts, and I've actually never seen a grouper sitting facing the opposite way of me before, just for whatever reason, and this guy wasn't looking at me at all, and I kind of, I waited just for him to turn, and I was able to get a shot. He swam right to me, and I tried to get a handle on this fish and pull him through, and my shaft kind of got, or my gun rather, got stuck up underneath that culvert. Luckily, Josh was right there, and he was able to push the gun a little bit through, and make sure that fish stayed on the shaft, because I did have to let him go. But Josh was there to recover and kind of help make sure that fish didn't get lost. So here's just a quick clip of what sometimes can happen if you have a little bit of a warped shaft or maybe overpowered bands on your shaft, I believe. Previous fishing shot kind of warped my shaft a little bit. But yeah, let's see what happens here.
This clip here is of me diving at the end. Spotted a pretty nice mangrove and took a shot on him. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. That'll be another video of Crystal River Day 2, so make sure to tune in. Alright, so Josh shot a giant gag today on a pole spear. It was 35 inches long. We looked at the world record's 19 pounds, and we've shot grouper before that are less than 35 inches and bigger than 19 pounds, so we're going to find out if this is a possibly world record or not. You sure that's not the grouper? It looks like the grouper.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, something like that. We are going to find out. Here, flip this the other way.
Is that the guy? Yeah.
Alright, we're zeroed out. Let's see what we're working with.
I don't think he's got it. Yeah, no, definitely not.
17 something pounder though on the pole spear, which is incredibly impressive. Well done. Very well done. Hold him up.